Good day, beautiful tribe. I hope you're all doing well and fantastic on this wonderful day. I wonder, have you been feeling a bit stuck? Like you've been at this crossroads of sorts? While at the same time, maybe feeling like the walls are collapsing in all around you? A feeling perhaps that maybe you're hanging upside down from a rope trying to break free. Well, friends, the good news is something is about to break, and amazing energies will begin flowing in, which I am going to elaborate on today's Teatime episode. You know, the month of September, I'm already jumping into October. The month of September is coming to a close today, and the month certainly has been going out with several huge bangs. What a crazy month it's been. Not as crazy as the summertime, but it's going to get crazier again. Not so much in October, though. But we also had a lot of several other predictions over the past week flowing into reality, unfortunate ones. This being a combination of two separate visions, apparently coming together as one, actually, which is kind of interesting. First, I saw this vision, if you recall, of a crazed individual setting fire to a church during a church gathering. And then, of course, I've also been warning for quite some time that we would see unfortunate pow-pow events taking place at Christian churches mainly, and other religious structures, but mainly Christian churches. And that sad reality occurred over the weekend in Michigan. A combination of both. Some really interesting stuff around this event, too, and other recent, crazed events that have been going down, including over the weekend. Lots of unfortunate, pow-pow events happening. And I'm going to cover that today, of course. Now, our friends in the United Kingdom, as well as those down under in Australia, of course, are really being pushed towards this total totalitarian, fascist-controlled society. Yeah, have you heard about that one? Yeah. Unless they're going to step up and fight against it, which I really hope they will. And that's the coming digital ID. Are you familiar with the digital ID? I've talked about this for years now, that they would push this narrative. And here it comes, friends. Here it comes. So will this digital ID become a reality in Australia, the United Kingdom, and maybe even across the entire globe? It's an unfortunate thing, friends. They are pushing it in that direction. They being the globalists, the control freaks that want to run it all and want to eliminate as many of us as they can along the way. Now, President Trump just made a trip over to the UK. No coincidences there, huh? He met with the King Charles, and things seem to have taken a turn as soon as he arrived back, if you haven't noticed, as soon as he got back. Now, also as soon as he got back, he had this meeting. Today, I'm recording this on Monday, with, one of his handlers, that Netanyahu guy. Wonder why. More deals? Are they legit? Is there really going to be peace in the Middle East? Well, I'll let you know what I feel about that today and what the spirits have to tune in on that today. And soon after President Trump returned to the United States, again, things got really strange when Pete Hegseth, the head of the Pentagon, started calling together all the top generals and top military leaders together in one place from all over the world, all gathering together over there in Virginia, I believe it is. Don't you think that's a bit unsafe? That's what I would think. A little less than smart. So why all of a sudden? Why so random? And never before. This has never before happened where they called together all these military leaders. Are they planning some kind of coming conflict? Maybe an attack on the United States? Or could they be planning on firing and letting go a lot of these top military personnel to make some kind of shifts and changes to our military? Or how about a little bit of all the above? Again, of course, we got to talk about that today. Platforms, speaking of digital IDs, are now requiring, at least here in the United States, folks to prove their age in order to access their platforms now, forcing you to log in and sign up for an account, and I guess showing your ID or what have you, all with the promise, of course, that this is there to protect the kids. Thought that was the parents' job anyway, because devices do have parental controls on them, but we know it's not about the kids, at least definitely not in this case. This is getting folks programmed and ready for that digital ID. And here in the United States, Palantir, which happens to be a Israel-created software program, a complete tracking system now going into place here in the United States that people aren't aware of. So how far are these people going to go? And how far will we go to make sure it doesn't come into play? Do you want a full surveillance global system? I sure don't, because then they're going to limit how much you buy at the grocery store, how often you can fly, and the list is going to go on and on. Now, over there in Dearborn, Michigan, this has been all over the internet, and I've talked about Dearborn, Michigan to y'all before in the past, when, basically the whole Dearborn, Michigan's been taken over by the Muslims, literally taken over. The mayor, the chief of police, all the way down to the writing now on the police badges, which is now Arabic and English, both. So what is more disturbing? And I'm all about this is a free country and practice your religion, but what's disturbing is their chants in the street and what they are chanting. They're chanting death to America, like seriously. Now, what if you invited somebody, a family, say, into your home? And then you heard them in the room chanting, death to your family. Would you let them stay? How would you react to that? Would you react to that? Of course you would react to that. It's one thing to be here, but to push this on people in the streets and then also pushing Christians out of that little city of Dearborn. And somebody in the questions is asking about that, and I'm going to address that. They're asking about that happening over there in the United Kingdom. And this is very serious. And it literally is happening all over the globe. Perhaps part of the globalist agenda? Yeah, no doubt. No doubt at all, friends. So many strange things are happening. They're happening all over the globe. And you know what? They're going to get a whole lot stranger in the coming months. Although October looks like it could be quite, exciting if we make it that way. And of course, we should talk about all of that today. While I'm going to answer some questions from the subscribers that were left down below in the comments. These questions, again, this is pre-recorded show, so this is all, don't put your questions in now. This was all pre-recorded. And we're going to do all that today, September 30th, on episode number 184 of Tuesday's Teatime, baby. I have noticed way too strongly lately, not only with clients, but also with friends and others, who all seem to be hitting somewhat of a dead end or a brick wall lately. Perhaps maybe you are feeling this as well. Perhaps we're all feeling this in one way or another. A slight feeling of being kind of a bit lost, so to speak. As if there's something that you should be doing, but you'd be darned if you could figure out exactly what it is you should be doing. You know that feeling. That strong feeling that you've reached these crossroads in your life without the certainty of knowing which road to take next. Make a right, make a left, take a new road. And even feelings that may resemble that tarot card, the Hanged Man. That sense that you are literally tied up by your feet, hanging and dangling upside down from the ceiling, trying to figure out how the heck you're going to get down. Basically, a reversal of your way of life in some form or another, as if the universe is just shaking everything out of your pockets. Well, now, some people are also experiencing these days in which they feel that the walls are crashing in on them and that they need to escape, escape the earthquake, the shaking, and again, the collapsing of the walls. But at the same time, not having anywhere to escape to, or not knowing where to escape to. So, if you are indeed feeling this way, then you certainly are not the only one, friends. You are not the only one. It's the majority, really. The entire majority is feeling this in some form or another. Whether you're feeling this in the ways of the examples that I just placed in front of you, that I just spoke about, excuse me. Know that you're not the only one, friends. You are not the only one. Know that this too shall pass. And when it does pass, new paths are going to await all of us. Now remember, excuse me again, September was a 9 universal month with the 9 universal year in the backdrop. That's double nines, friends. Double nines. I need a drink. Excuse me 1 second. That's double nine energy. Some coconut juice. Good in magnesium. Good in minerals. Anyway, the double 9 year that we had been in. And the double, the 9 month and then the 9 year. And this is very powerful. It's the energy and the power for major endings and endings of Earth cycles. And it's also, the double nines empowered by these recent astrological transits that have most of us, if not all of us, feeling these feelings in some way or another. Everything that I just described, or at least part of what I just described. The good news here is, friends, yes, there is good news here, friends. Of course there is. Even though it may not feel so at the moment, we are heading into this final quarter of 2025 and likely the most intense month so far in 2025. This is going to lead to major transformation, personally, universally, and for the collective. And the type of transformation that occurs from within first, before we start to witness this in our surroundings, all around us, and all around us begins to transform. It's this next big step. Perhaps one of the biggest steps thus far, perhaps the biggest step so far, in our greater or even our greatest awakening of all. It's kind of exciting. Now, October, we step into the one universal month. And if you missed my October forecast and predictions, which premiered yesterday, which is actually today when I'm filming this on Monday, be sure to check it out, friends. Check it out. Listen very closely to the forecast, because it's really meant to help guide you through each month with ease and joy. And I expect October, at least as we step into it, to lighten things up a little bit more. Things should be a little bit lighter in comparison, especially to the summer months. And I feel like they're going to lighten up quite a bit personally, and hopefully for the entire collective. But I also do warn you, friends, that things are going to get super intense again when we hit late October, but mostly in the month of November. Remember, I picked 3 months a year in my yearly forecast that are going to be the most intense. I said March. I said the end of July into August, so that was kind of combined 2 months, and then and which was intense. And then I also said November into early December, so that's going to be intense. But that intensity leads to good. Remember, the one universal month of October. This is allowing us this whole new fresh start. This is a perfect time in October, starting tomorrow, to launch new projects, to get a new start, to start a new career path, launch a new business, launch something on social media, whatever it may be. While at the same time reflecting, very important that you reflect on the things that you finally have let go of, especially in this month of September and throughout this whole year. Look at all the things that you have let go of, the ashes that you left behind, so you can build something new. Now, I saw so many folks, clients especially, who had major endings in the month of September. A lot of them were their career paths, which was really interesting. Some were retirement, but a lot of them were career related. And other things too, relationships that ended. So this is a wonderful thing, even though it might not feel so wonderful at times. We don't always like endings. Most people do not. They're not fun. But the double nine vibration allowed us to truly see what no longer serves our highest potentials. And that's so important in shifting us, in shifting our lives. Once we identify a problem, we can begin to correct that problem. And that 9 energy helped us to identify some of those problems. That could have been a pattern, a habit, a relationship, your career, and the list goes on and on. Now, you likely also already noticed a little bit of a shift when it comes to your thinking. Means we're stepping out. We're about to step right out of September. So already you should have noticed a shift in your thinking, maybe the way you go about things or the way you go about your daily routine. Take notice of that. Think about that and take notice to that. You may also notice that you're allowing things to shift and change, whereas before maybe you were resistant of it, but now you're allowing it. You're starting to welcome it in. So make October a great month, because October can be a great month. Again, start something new, learn something new, start a new class, but make sure you take it slow in the month of October. The reason being is that one vibration can really be like ADHD on steroids, where you're kind of all over the place, And if you're ADHD already, then that one vibration is going to heighten that quite a bit. But it's easy to get past that. Just ground yourself every day. Get outside. There's good grounding meditations. I'm sure there's one somewhere on my YouTube channel. There's lots of meditations, guided meditations on my YouTube channel. But it's easy to ground your energy. It's the first thing I teach my students in my master classes, which hopefully I will bring them back some point next year. Traveling, no time for classes yet, but hopefully next year at some point when I come back again from Peru. So things are going to really kind of spring up even more so as we close in and get closer up to the winter solstice, which of course is on December 21st, or summer solstice in the southern hemisphere, but the solstice, the December solstice. And I feel that for some reason that this coming solstice is extra special and extra powerful because I feel like it marks off a very important time for all of us where we're going to step into this whole new paradigm, not just solstice, but as we step into the new year, we step into this whole new paradigm. Remember, next year, like this month of October or next month of October, is ruled by that one vibration of new beginnings and rebuilding things from the ashes up. So I feel very strongly that new energies, some that will be coming from major, and I do mean major sunflare activity, while others are going to come from, according to the spirits, flowing in from outer space, from the aliens probably, or maybe from that comet and all the other things that are happening in outer space right now, as crazy as it may sound, and it may sound crazy, but it has something to do with what's happening and what's about to happen for all of us as we step into these new paradigms and these new things that are going to be really, really awesome. Something to really look forward to. Now, these new energies, also referred to as light codes, are truly meant to wake the masses in some form or another, but not without, of course, shaking the masses. It's shaking the masses, in turn, waking the masses. Remember, sometimes, actually a lot of times, things have to get really, really turned upside down. You know, like that song, Upside Down, You're Turning Me. That's what the universe is going to be doing, upside down, turning us and shaking us to the core. But that's done in order for folks to see basically what's been hidden in your pockets for so long. What's been hiding out in your pockets for so long that the universe has to shake you upside down and let that stuff fall out of your pockets. Just an interesting metaphor for you. So things are going to get crazy. Of course they are, especially in the month of November. But we have this little period in October to really reflect and plant your seeds for what you want to happen in the coming year and in the coming months. So remember, friends, do not be scared. Always be prepared, as I tell you. And you can be prepared, of course, always by having food and water supplies. It's always important to have backups in case something happens, power outage. At this point, anything's possible. Make sure you have a backup way of cooking, some candles, flashlights. I got some little solar lanterns. They stick outside and they charge up. They're awesome. Really like them. They were cheap too. I think there were like 4 of them for $10. Good deal, good deal. Just look around, shop around. You know, it's good to be prepared. Again, not scared, but prepared. And as my father would say, better be lucky to do it. You know, be prepared so that otherwise, you know, when the time comes, you won't have regrets instead. You know, humans love to hang on to regrets. Remember, you know, you may be in an area that could be hit by God knows whatever. Anything's possible, especially with the water coming in and all the water. Water's highlighted, and we haven't seen a whole lot of water. We saw outside of Tokyo, Japan, they just had big floods like a week and a half ago. But other than that, it's been pretty quiet. And I say it's the quiet before the storms come when it comes to Mother Nature. So the earth, you know, it's waking up. And the globalists, Mother Earth and the globalists both, are about to serve up a whole new menu. It should be interesting. So it's also good to have cash on hand too, you know, just in case. Just in case, you know, say money machines go down, or say the banks close temporarily, or there's a cyber attack and you need gasoline or whatever. It's good to just have a little bit of backup cash just in case. But overall, this great shaking and greater awakening that's happening and about to happen, this is going to bring a new level of wisdom, this new level of intuition to the masses, And this is going to increase also our empathic abilities as well. You know, people need a little bit more empathy. We can agree on that. It seems like people lost a lot of that. Once people get more increased empathic abilities, they begin to care more. They begin to look at things a little bit more clearly with more clear vision. And that is when, in turn, this causes people to rise up against the system. Rise up and say no to their control and yes to the new earth. That's what we need to do. No to the control and the globalism and yes to the new earth. Because 2026 and that one vibration that we're going to step into in October, but especially in 2026, that's going to offer up all kinds of new opportunities, all kinds of changes for the better of all of us. So we just got to keep our mind and focus on that. Because I know you may be experiencing a lot of fear right now. Many people are. Many clients call me and say, oh, where should I move? And my response is, first of all, I can't tell you where to go. Spirits won't let me. But where you should go is to a place that brings you joy and happiness. And ask yourself, where you currently live, does that bring you joy and happiness? If the answer is no, then what are you doing? Because if I can make and do what I did to get in cross country, trust me, anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. You focus your mind, you manifest, you can make it happen. So going back to the feelings, if you are feeling the ways that I've described earlier and so far during this broadcast, do not be alarmed. It's all part of this process, friends. All part of this process, and Spirit urges us all to focus on grounding our energy, getting outside with nature, dedicating to meditation. No, I say meditation and dedication, friends. Meditation and dedication, because this is the key to really, truly assisting you in finding the answers that you may be seeking. Remember, do not go about your day searching for these answers each and every day, because those answers actually lie right within your soul, right within your heart space. So tap into that heart space. Tap into your heart chakra. Do some heart chakra work. October's a great time to do that. There's, again, meditations on my channel and all over YouTube, guided meditations. Apply the love to yourself, the love that you're putting out to everybody else. Apply some of that to yourself. Commit daily to waking up every morning knowing that today I am going to be the best version of myself that I can possibly be. That attitude every morning will help shift your day so much better. Be open to change. I know change isn't always fun, but be open to change. This is a time for change. No matter how difficult it may be at first, remember, we are still bathing in that 9 universal energy of endings. So take advantage of it, friends. Take advantage of that vibration. For once doors begin to close all around you, the darkness, of course, is going to reveal new doors, new little key light holes where you can reach up and open that door. When you do, those doors are going to offer something much brighter, much bigger doors for you to step into so that you can step into an amazing, abundant future, because that's there for all of us. You just got to stay focused on allowing that to happen. Beautiful friends, I just want to take a moment to welcome you back to the channel and welcome you to the channel if you're new here. My name is Joseph Tittel, a.k.a. Spiritman JT, spiritual medium for over 3 decades. If you want to find out more information about myself, just go directly to my website, spiritmanjt.com. or josephtittel.com, Tittel.com. Down below in the description, you can find the links to all my social media platforms, including the Subscribe Star Awaken Your Spirit community of supporters who help make this free content possible for everybody else. Or you can even be a member of the YouTube platform down below. And then all the contributors that contribute to this channel. Again, I couldn't do it without you. I thank you with infinite love and gratitude. Also on social media platforms, if you happen to get a message from someone that appears to be me, I assure you, friends, it is not me. No. Especially if they're offering you something or telling you something or if it's like they say, if it sounds too good to be true, it's probably not true. So report those profiles immediately. Also down below, you can sign up for the newsletter. And the new newsletter goes out today or tomorrow. So if you didn't get it or sign up, that has all the astrology, the numerology, all the past content, so you never miss content. And again, if you're new here and you want accurate predictions, prophecy, and truth, and great content, and you want to vibe with this tribe, smash that subscribe, the bell, and all so that you get notifications. And hit that thumbs up love button, please, I beg of you. So much time and energy goes into these contents and into these videos and into this podcast every week. And all I ask for is just a little thumbs up, showing that love and appreciation. Not only that, that gets this out to more people. It'll show up on more feeds. And it'll also allow other stuff like this to show up on your feed from different content providers. So please do that. And let us move on to episode 184 of Tuesday's Tittle Tea Time. Again, the month is coming to a close once again today, and the month certainly has been going out with one bang after another, friends, one after another. Along with, once again, over the past week, some other predictions flowing into reality. Unfortunate ones, unfortunately, this being a combination of two separate visions that I had. Apparently, they came together as one, unless something else comes out of this. But if you recall, I saw a vision of a crazed individual setting fire to a church during a gathering. And I think I said this actually in the beginning of September, because if you remember, we talked about the story that somebody, I'm pretty sure it was in Paris, lit the Divine Mother Mary on fire. Oh, shame on you. Shame on you for lighting anything on fire, especially her. And then I said, I see this happening again, and I see this, I think I said in the United States, but someone going in during services of some sort and igniting it on fire. And sadly, that's something that came into reality. I also have warned, of course, of coming pow-pow events when it comes to churches, especially Christian churches, even synagogues and such. And this sad reality, again, both of these incidents all came together as one and played out over the weekend over there in Michigan when this crazed individual, at least they tell us, this crazy individual, I would think you'd have to be a little crazy to do something like this. Maybe perhaps MK Ultra, kind of controlled. Who knows? But this individual drove his truck directly into the front doors of the Church of Latter-day Saints in Michigan, opening a fire apparently, and afterwards setting fire to the church. I mean, that whole place burned, and it was a big church if you saw the pictures and the video of the fire. Such a sad, sad incident. But it truly does seem to be a bit shady, to say the least. First, we had the whole Charlie Kirk incident that happened, right? And then they accused, the person accused being alleged left-wing, trans-backed individual, right, from a conservative family. And now we have this guy at the church with two big American flags in the back of his truck, of course, being associated with MAGA. Why do they associate the American flag with MAGA? I have flags all out in front of my house, and let me tell you, I assure you, I am not associated with such. I like to tell you all the time, independent is the way to go. I am an independent individual. I like being an independent individual. We should all have independence of some sort. I mean, we even have Independence Day, right? So independent is the way to go. Maybe that's a sign right there, Independence Day. Were our forefathers trying to tell us something with that? So what this is, of course, is another separation tactic, of course, meant to divide Americans even more. Sad deal, indeed. And sadly, as I predicted, we're going to see too many. One is too many when it comes to pow-pow events. One is too many. But not just pow-pow events. I see vandalism, and I see a lot of targeting towards churches and religious structures, religious institutions. And not even that, even church leaders. As I told you before, I saw attempts, kind of like the Charlie Kirk thing, but I saw that happening on leaders of religious institutions. So I see also some type of a larger pow-pow event that's going to take place at a religious school. Maybe a Catholic school, not sure. Christian school, likely. And then I see another type of outdoor church event. I had this vision earlier today. I saw an outdoor church event, and I feel almost like a barbecue. I mean, we're out of barbecue season, but it almost felt like that. Outdoors, nice day. Maybe this is somewhere in the South or one of the southern states, I would imagine. And I saw senseless attacks taking place. I heard lots of firing, and it just didn't feel like a very good scene, that's for sure. It felt like something out of a horror movie. And then I also see attacks on religion when it comes to places throughout Europe, not just United States, but many of our ally countries. And I see this vision of several places being targeted with fire at the same time. It felt like almost like 3 or 4 churches or religious structures or institutions all being targeted on the same night basically, being attacked by fire. I don't know where this is. This could be in Paris, actually. That comes to mind. And there are some transits in place in the month of October that are going to highlight especially sudden fires. Sudden fires. So friends, be mindful. Be safe when it comes to fire in October. Because a lot of it will be unexpected. Like all of a sudden your barbecue catches on fire. It reminds me I got to clean my barbecue so I don't have that problem. Before the next time I grill, it's time to clean your barbecues, friends. Time to wash out all that grease. Just saying. Now, another sad vision that I had coming into fruition over the weekend was that of me seeing a Pow Pow event taking place at a casino. Remember that? Except I'm pretty sure that I did say or felt that it may be Las Vegas. I might have even said Atlantic City. But I forgot there are casinos pretty much everywhere nowadays. And this actually played out over the weekend to our friends down there in Texas, where they say everything's bigger in Texas. They do say that. But this sadly took place. And 2 folks in that casino were definitely not winners. They didn't even come out alive. And many others were injured. And again, originally I did feel that it was going to be Vegas. So I actually checked in with my spirit guys. I was like, hey, spirit guys, how are you today? And they stated that Vegas is still very, very vulnerable. Very vulnerable. So I expect that there's going to be some type of a Pow Pow event that's going to take place either inside or right outside of a Vegas casino. So the casino thing isn't over. Unfortunately. Very, very unfortunately. Now here is something I wanted you to check out. Because I found this clip from September's forecast and predictions. And this is something I said in my September predictions when it came to coming events at, I just had a blank, universities. And I had this vision of a Pow Pow event taking place at a university in September. Give a listen, and then we'll chat about it after. Shots being fired at a campus. And I felt that the shooter seems to be in a high place, like on a roof. So that kind of got mixed in with the protest visions. So I don't know if this is during a protest this happens. Not sure. It's holding the light that it does not happen. With some predictions, I'd rather they not come into fruition. Keep in mind that often with visions like this, I mainly will see a narrative, or what plays out in the media is often what I see, which would be, the kid on the roof as the single Pow Pow man that they're making it out to be, which we all know clearly at this point in time is not at all the case. This truth is going to be exposed, as I told you, as it's slowly unraveling already. And that kid will either be taken out completely, why he's in jail or prison or wherever he's at, which is going to be the most likely thing. Otherwise, he's going to get off. He's going to walk away. There's too much coming out. There's too much being seen. We know about this, friends, and he's it's really interesting because, Spirit said, and I assure you that that young man never fired anything. Yeah, of course he was there. Maybe, again, that MK thing. But we know that there was something shady. I told you before where it came from. And I still stick to that feeling that it came, if I'm facing him, looking at him, it's the left side. If it's him sitting in the chair, it was the right side, came in from behind. Some people are saying it's the lavalier that exploded. That could have exploded, but I still don't feel like that's what did it. It does look like it exploded, but I still don't feel like that was it. I feel that it came from the back, right from the back right side, and came back around, ricocheted or whatever it was. And there are videos that show the flash on his, right side or your left side when you're facing the stage. And not only that, the whole thing is shady. The whole thing is shady. And, save your comments if you're going to be rude, and do not email me nastiness, because someone emailed my office some nasty things, simply because I said there's something really off with Kurt's wife. There is. Everybody in the comments agrees. I guess that's why they emailed me, because they knew if they put it in the comments, people would say something. There's something off about her. I never said anything about the memorial, as you claimed in your email. I didn't watch the memorial. I saw one clip of her hugging Trump, and that felt a little weird too. Why would J.D. Vance go and carry this guy's casket? Because personally, I had never heard of this guy. I probably saw him in clips here and there, but had no idea who he was. Her neither. And then for Trump to show up at the funeral, it's just the whole thing's weird, friends. And I know pretty much everybody's agreeing on that at this point in time. There's something off about her. I don't know what it is. I didn't say what it was. I just said something's off. When something's off about somebody, there's something off, I assure you. So sadly, universities are going to become vulnerable in the coming months, especially in the month of November. And I could see visions of law enforcement. I guess this is for protests going into certain universities. I feel this is happening over there in Europe too, probably United Kingdom, England, those areas, perhaps even in France. I see a lot of things happening at universities, like gatherings and protests that, again, don't always work out very well. But I feel there's going to be another event that takes place at a university that involves some type of a weapon that goes pow-pow. Because I see people scattering, and I see this vision now, so this isn't in any notes. Unfortunate. So we got to hold light over all these places. And if you got a kid that wants to go to a protest at a university, you might want to tie them down to the bed and keep them home. Because I would tell my kid, I'm all about protesting. I've been to many protests. But in this case, nah, you want to avoid that. Stay away, even if you think it's peaceful. With the energies, especially in November. October is pretty good, though. October should be pretty good until we get towards the end of October. So may we all together hold in the light that these horrors come to a stop in the near future. All these horrors, this country and around the globe. And prayers, of course, to all the families that have been affected by both sides of these tragic events. All these tragic events. And sadly, I feel that this is somehow all orchestrated in some way. Not the casino thing, but the church thing feels odd. We know the Kirk thing's totally off. And I feel like there's some kind of nefarious intention behind it all. So you let me know what you feel in the comments down below. And of course, be kind in the comments down below. There's somebody that's been trolling all the comments lately. And pretty soon you're going to get blocked if you keep trolling people's comments. Be kind. This is the tribe. We should vibe like the tribe, not argue with one another. You don't have to accept everything I see. And remember, don't kill the messenger if you don't want to hear the message. If you don't like the message that you hear. But that's my feelings. That's my intuition. If you've been following me long enough, the intuition and the spirits are pretty right on most of the time. Most of the time. Now, our friends in the United Kingdom, as well as those down under in Australia, they're really being pushed towards this total totalitarian, fascist-controlled society. But will they step up, friends, and fight? Friends in the UK, are you going to step up and fight against the globalist plan and the royals' plan as well? I want you to check out this clip right here, because this is, to me, beyond concerning. Check it out.
And that is why today I am announcing this government will make a new free-of-charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work by the end of this Parliament. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. It's as simple as that.
Y'all need to get Stammer out of there. Man, he's bringing your country down big time, and they will push this digital ID on you. As you say, you will not be able to get a job. You will not be able to do this. Sounds like the mark of the beast, don't it? All you got to do, friends, is come together and resist. You can do this. You can do this. But to not be able to work without a digital ID, that doesn't sound like a free country to me. That doesn't sound like freedom to me. And that's going to come to the point where you're not be able to do anything. Weren't we told that that's what birth certificates and social security cards were for? So that we can get a job? I know when I first wanted to get a job at the age of 13, I had to have my social security card. That was my non-digital, my number, because we're all numbered in this country. I don't know about your country, but we're all numbered because this is a big corporation here in America. It's not a country anymore, corporation, owned by the globalists and the big bankers. I thought that's what our social securities were for, again, at least in the United States. And this is the first push, friends, towards this totalitarian control. Completely. Literally the mark of the beast. It says in the Bible, you will be unable to buy or purchase without the mark. That's what they're doing. Because let me tell you, once they put this in, enforce this, then comes the social credit score. 100%. And that's going to be the system that's going to limit how much meat you can purchase at the grocery store, And you go to purchase a steak, and the little bell's going to go off saying, "Nope, you had your steak for the month." It's going to limit how much you can travel. Of course, the globalists will be able to continue to travel on their private jets, but you'll be limited. That's their goal. That's their plan. This is the true mark of the beast. The true mark, friends. And that's not conspiracy. That's just fact. I did a video a couple years ago called Mark of the Beast. I'll try to remember to put that at the end of this video. So you can always find recommended videos down below or up above. You'll see them pop up here and there. YouTube only allows us to put 5 in there, so per video. Which I could see for shorter videos. But an hour or longer video, you should be able to put more than 5 in there. Maybe they'll increase it in the near future. Now, all this digital ID system, friends, this is going to be backed by Starlink satellite tracking. I warned you about that a long time ago. People are like, "Oh no, Elon's for the good. He's a white hat." You keep telling yourselves that. Maybe by some pure blessing, he'll switch, but he hasn't yet, according to the spirits. And I'm going to take the spirits' advice because they don't lie to me. And did you know now Bill Gates is now launching over 60,000 satellites into low orbit, along with their Mr. Musk? And what Gates wants to do is he wants to monitor every square inch of the Earth. That guy just creeps me the hell out. He creeps me out, I think, more than any of them. Him and George Soros, I think, are the 2 creepiest ones of all. And I think I'd put King Charles in third. Maybe not. But definitely Soros and definitely Gates are the two to creep me out. No, I'd put actually Elon Musk in third. Yeah, those 3. Definitely. Now, this is going to be backed by that. And he wants to monitor every square inch of the Earth. And these folks are the true villains, friends. These are the villains in that superhero movie. My question is, where the heck's the superheroes? People think it's the aliens. No, they're just here to observe right now. But they are here to bring some of the light codes that are going to be coming in towards the end of the year, just said the spirits. Interesting. That's probably around the solstice, I would imagine. No, they said some's coming in the end of October. Things will appear in the skies in late October, and November is going to be a huge month of sky events. I predicted that last year for November, December. Remember the whole drone invasion? Yeah, it happened as per predicted. So I'll have to tune into that. And I'm going to be doing another video. I did forecast and predictions for October yesterday, but I will do another October prediction video because there's a lot more to talk about and predict for October. So keep an eye out for that, hopefully on Thursday. So these folks, again, they're truly the villains, and we need our superheroes to stand up because Australia now is following right behind the UK. Except I feel that the UK is really going to step it up. Really. And it goes back to my recent channel predictions. If you remember where I saw if I find the clip, I'll throw it in here. But remember, I saw complete chaos breaking out in the United Kingdom. And I would imagine that this is probably why. United Kingdom, there will also be complete civil unrest between United Kingdom, Ireland, Scotland, and other areas where the people finally step up and fight against the injustices from the governments and that is weeded from deep within the royal family. Within the royal family, so much evil lurks as the royals have been controlling everything on the earth for thousands of years. Now listen to this clip from Catherine Austin Fitz. Now, if you don't know who she is, she was right on top, worked with the Bush and baby Bush, and she's a smart woman. This woman is on top of the truth big time. Give a listen.
Trump was put in by the bankers to get the control grid. The other team in the Uniparty wasn't moving fast enough. They couldn't get the control grid.
I knew it.
I sent you a link. We just did a new collection of all the things Trump is doing to move the control grid. He is moving very, very fast. When it comes first, he's getting the Real ID implemented very aggressively. Real ID, to do a control grid, you need a very high quality precision national ID that's interoperable with all the other IDs around the world. And he's got Kristi Noem out there pushing the Real ID like there's no tomorrow. So they're working, and it's done through the states, but the feds are pushing it. So the first thing you need is a digital ID. The second thing you need is an all-digital financial system. So you got to kill cash, and you got to make everybody interact digitally. And if you look at what he's doing with taxes and Social Security, he's trying to make everybody, he's canceled pennies, but he's also canceled now normally I pay my taxes with paper, and now he's saying, no, you got to do everything digital. It's not this year, but the next year.
Really?
So he's trying to, if you go through that list, I've got 50 different items of what he's doing. And if you look at what they're doing with the Genius Act and stablecoin, he said no CBDCs, but.
And to top all this off, friends, and to push this digital ID and total surveillance system in our faces as complete truth as their agenda, platforms now here, at least here in the United States, are requiring that folks now need to sign in and sign up and prove their age in order to access many online platforms. Interesting, huh? Yeah, that's the first step. Get you used to it. Get you used to having to identify your age and who you are. Oh, of course, this is in the promise to protect the kids, even though that's supposed to be the parents' job, isn't it? And the devices do have parental controls on it. So that's what the parents need to do. And we know it's not about the kids, at least not in this case. This is about folks being programmed and ready for the digital ID and Palantir's complete tracking system. Palantir, Peter Thiel, who's super creepy. I'd put him in fourth, I guess. He might even be in first. That guy's pretty creepy. And you know who's best buddies with him? J.D. Vance. And you know who kissed up to him? Remember at the inauguration, friends? Remember? There were 33 big tech giants, from Jeff Bezos to Gates to Musk. All of them were there, 33 of them. You know that number 33 is connected to the Freemasons. Of course they made that number purposely. And they were all there kissing up to Trump. And then he became the president. And the president signed our data over to Palantir. A lot of people aren't aware of that. And, Palantir, it's like signing us up to the devil himself. Signing us up to the devil. By the way, for your information, Palantir was created by Israel. And it's literally a massive tracking system. That's exactly what Palantir is. And in the future, they're going to attempt to use this system to claim, that it's going to be for the good. It's going to be the good for everybody. You have to have this. And it's not going to be Trump that's going to put it in. It's going to be when he passes and Vance goes in that they're going to push the system into play. You watch. Mark my words. Americans need to rise up to that one for sure. And you know what else they're going to do with this system? They're going to be able to say in the future, well, we can tell that you're able, through AI in our Palantir system, that there's a potential that you're going to commit a crime, so we're going to come in the middle of the night and round you up and arrest you. There was a movie about that. Remember that movie? Wasn't Tom Cruise in that movie? I don't like Tom Cruise, but in that movie, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Tom Cruise movie. Yeah, it's going to be like that, sort of. That's their plan. I told you. They're villains, friends. They're villains. And we never heard. Have you noticed that we never heard, and we never will, about the gold at Fort Knox? What happened to the gold at Fort Knox? And it seems like, everything now is Israel and the globalists first. Israel and the globalists. It's not for the United States here, and it's definitely not for you folks in the UK or Australia. Your people aren't about you. They're about the globalist agenda. Us and all the allied countries. So be sure, too, if you get a chance, friends, to look up the new United Nations document. It's called the Pact of the Future document. The Pact of the Future document. And friends, it is scary. And it literally defines more of their dominant agenda. I told you, they put it right in front of our faces every single time. Also look into the document and when you look at that document, look through that document for the silence procedure that's listed in there. Very creepy. And I don't have time to gather the info, but I encourage you to look this up for yourselves, friends. Look this up for yourselves. President Trump just made a trip over to the UK with the king, and things seem to have taken a total turn since he's gotten back. He also met once again today, on Monday when I'm recording this, with one of his handlers, Netanyahu. Wonder why. More deals? They claim that, as they have in the past, I remind you many, many times, that there was a deal made for peace. And, as long as the other side, agrees to this agreement. But at the same time, Netanyahu never actually said that he agreed to the deal. He just put the deal out there. Just saying what I observed. And the whole little speech between the two of them felt, again, like it was very scripted. To me, it felt very scripted. And I didn't watch the whole thing. I only watched part of it because I can't listen to Netanyahu. When I see him, I see horns coming out of his head. But they agreed to this window of peace. And as I told you in the past, I do feel that there will be a short window of peace or a ceasefire. But Israel's not going to stop, friends. One of my friends said Trump looked high. I didn't catch that. I don't know. Did you think he looked high? I mean, he's probably on some kind of medication, I would imagine. Maybe he's just exhausted. I'm going to have to go back and watch. I only watched it for a minute, like I said, when I can't listen to Netanyahu. It's just one of them things that gets under my skin really bad because I can see right through people like that. I can see right through most people, actually. And I told you, there will be a temporary peace, but they're not going to stop. They have a plan called the Greater Israel. Look it up for yourselves. That plan shows a map, and that map shows a much larger Israel country. But where? How's it going to get bigger? Where are they getting the land from? Well, land grabs, of course. So, and again, look it up for yourself. All this wisdom and knowledge is out there. You can find it for yourself. He actually shows the map, Netanyahu, talking about the Greater Israel. So, soon after the president returned from the UK, things get even stranger when Pete Hegseth called for top generals and top military leaders to gather in one place, I believe in Virginia. I'd say that's a bit less than smart, wouldn't you say, friends? A little less than smart. To have all these very powerful heads gathering together in the same area? Less than smart for sure. So why this random and never before ever calling together of military leaders like this? This has never happened before. Are they planning on some kind of coming conflict? Is that what they're planning on? Yeah, I think they are, friends. I think it's a combination of a couple things. Because even in my October forecasted predictions, I talk about more people falling from power, and I've been saying that since my 2025 forecast for the year, that we would see assassinations, leaders being taken down, CEOs, all these, and we've seen hundreds fall this year. Even some retiring, stepping down, what have you. So I would imagine that there's going to be a clearing of house happening in the military in the United States. And then they're going to prop a few of these generals up on pedestals and make them look like some type of heroes. I don't know why or how, but they are. And at the same time, they are preparing for a couple things. Part of this meeting makes me feel like what they're being told about within the United States. Of course, they're going to use domestic terrorism as a way of also suppressing Americans even more. They're doing this in other countries, including the UK again, probably in Down Under and wherever else. This is a big thing that's happening with these military people. And they're planning a few things, multiple things. All comes in threes, says the Spirit. It all comes in threes. So yeah, there's going to be a clearinghouse happening within the military. More people clearing out of the Pentagon and being replaced as well. That's part of this. They're going to switch some of these people around to different spots, but they're also prepping them for potential of nuclear stuff. Potential, and I don't feel like there's a worry other than the one vision I had of a tactical weapon being used. Yeah, we should see how it plays out. But remember, the one vibration of October can bring some peace into place. I also, Spirit says, this is also a bit of a scare tactic to put scares into Russia. Russia, you can't scare them, but that's what's happening. It's happening, friends. Things are definitely happening. Another thing I wanted to mention, because somebody asked me in the comments, is the Muslims going to take over the UK? Well, here in the United States, in a town called Dearborn, Michigan, which has totally been taken over by the Muslims, from the mayor to the chief of police and everybody that's in charge in that city is all Muslim. All the way down to even now they have Islamic writing on their police badges that they put on them. And they're enforcing the law, the Muslim law, whatever they call that Muslim law. They're enforcing that on the streets of this Dearborn, Michigan. Hey, I'm all about free country and free practice of religion, but do it in your own building, not on our streets, and don't push it into people. Because now they're pushing Christians out of there. And before you know it, you're going to see a lot of violence that's going to start taking place in places like Dearborn, Michigan, and other places around the United Kingdom and other countries where this is happening. Even in the United Kingdom, if you look, almost every mayor, every leader, all the leaders are all Muslims are stepping into place. This is their way to take over. The disturbing thing to me was the video I saw in Dearborn, Michigan of them chanting in the streets. And what were they chanting? Death to America, of course. Seriously, too. Totally seriously. Go look it up for yourself. Now, again, if I invited you and your family into my house and I heard you in the other room, chanting death to my family, yeah, you wouldn't be allowed to stay. Definitely wouldn't be allowed to stay. You'd be out before nightfall. This is seriously happening all over the globe, friends. Seriously happening. It's part of the globalist agenda, no doubt. Mix everybody together, throw everybody together. It's a purposeful thing. And then part of this, of course, is the radicals, part of their radical plan. Remember, I saw people taken to the streets with masks on and such, people that were hidden in the tunnels and hidden. And some of this could be, I told you it was a combination of Russia, China, and some of these radicals, Iran, Afghanistan. So they're here. And not all of those people are bad people. Just like, sometimes I'll tell you how the Vatican is just evil and people think I say that about all Catholics. I grew up Catholic. All my friends are Catholic. I have friends that go to a Catholic church still. No, not all Catholics are evil, but the church, the Vatican is. I have no doubt. If you were the devil, where would you hide? Right in the center of religions, of course, to control the people. Do you think God wants to control you? No, God put you here to learn lessons and to live and thrive on this amazing planet that we live on, to get along with one another, to love one another. Not to tell you you can't do this and you can't do that and that's bad and this is bad and that's bad and this is bad. It's ridiculous. But this is the awakening, friends. This is people waking up to what's happening. And we're going to see this happening all over. I remember many years ago I predicted and said that the Muslim nation, the dark side of it, because there's a dark and light side of everything, right? The dark side of it has this plan to eventually take over the Vatican. That's not going to happen because what's going to happen over there eventually, no time soon, but eventually, that's going to end because it's even in prophecies. It's going to burn, and it's going to burn from volcanic eruptions. No time soon, though. So don't get worried, and just thrive in your life. Be happy, be joyful. Fear is not something to plug into at all. A couple other things I wanted to mention that I totally forgot about was the whole indictment that happened on James Comey. And now the president's saying that there is likely going to be others that are going to be charged with indictments. Here's the thing, though. We've seen these indictments many times when it comes to politicians and people in high power places, and almost every single time, they seem to always want to get away with it. They always do get away with it. That's the problem here. And it feels more like a political thing, of course. Now, again, they did that to the president when he wasn't president, so I could see where it's going back and forth. Could the Clintons be the next to be indicted? The Clintons are in their 9 years, so I really thought some kind of big ending was coming for them. I mean, there's still 3 full months left in the year. Many things can happen. Now, Comey is a Sagittarius, and he's in his 8th year, which happens to do with money, finances, and infinite possibilities. That possibility is that he gets off that indictment, which is probably likely. But in October, he's in his 9 vibration. Endings, death of cycles, potential court things happening, sure, in that 9 vibration. And then next year, he goes through that 9. So Comey's in for definitely some long struggles and heartaches, we'll say. And I do see more indictments coming. And remember, I saw arrests taking place, and I saw this many years ago. Many arrests of politicians and such. So it's going to happen one way or another, whether it's on the current president's watch or whether it's on something future's watch, and not even just in this country, other countries as well. So we can only hold in the light that these people finally get stopped for all the horrors that they bring upon us and upon our planet to control. Now, I saw an email when I ran into the house. I don't have my computer with me because my friends on Subscribestar are watching the October forecast, because again, it's Monday right now when I'm recording this. I just saw an email. I can't remember the person's name because I never even heard of the guy, but a financier, I guess a rich guy, high up, was just arrested and charged with, getting caught up in traffic, if you know what I mean. Or getting folks caught up in traffic would be an even better way of saying it. So there we go. I told you, big arrests of big high-profile CEOs and such. Financier, that's a pretty big title right there. So we'll see how that goes. That'll be interesting. We saw that happen with the founders of Abercrombie and Fitch. I can't think of the guy's name, but them being charged with the same thing. These people are ruthless, friends. Ruthless, dirty, dirty, dirty people. Yes, indeed, they are. So I'm going to take a few questions before we round up today's show. Remember, if you missed October's forecasts and predictions, be sure to check that out. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe and vibe with this tribe by hitting that subscribe. I hit the wrong button, opened up the wrong thing. I'm looking for questions here. I'm going to have to put on my grandpa glasses. I got a new phone because my other phone got busted. It needed to be replaced, and I haven't made my writing bigger. Usually I go in and adjust the writing, so I don't have to put glasses on. Let's see here. Q&A. Start off at the bottom. Now, I didn't look this person up, but somebody in Australia is asking about Desi Freeman, who is being accused of taking out 2 police officers. He's currently on the run. Did he actually do what he's being accused of? Spirit says some of it, but not all of it. So he's partly guilty. And that's all I get. I'd have to look that person up and look up their picture. And again, I don't have my computer in front of me, just my phone. Oh, and then somebody's asking this from Australia. Hi, JT. This is Aroha. I just wanting to know, is Australia's digital ID for the internet, is it going to go forward? And are we going to fight it? Well, are you going to fight it? That's on you, my darling. That's on you. Are you going to fight it? You should fight it. And they're saying in Australia, just for the internet access? No, that's going to turn into all access. To access your bank account, to access this, to access that. That's what they're going to push it into. And yeah, people are going to rise up, especially with these new light codes coming in the coming months. And you have to fight it. I do feel that there's a potential that we can win this. But right now, the odds are more against us. But that's just right now. Doesn't mean the odds won't be for us in the near future. Always hold in the light the outcome that you want to see. And that's the outcome will you get. What is the vitamins for immune strength that Spirit recommends for us to survive the big flu or whatever is coming our way? Now, that's medical, and I'm not a doctor, and you need to always seek medical advice. But what I can tell you is what I take. I always take a liquid multivitamin. Liquid's better because of the pill, by the time it breaks down in your body, you're not getting all the vitamins that are listed on the back of the bottle. Liquid vitamins absorbs right into your body. If I'm home and I'm not going anywhere for a few days, I don't take these things. But when I'm out on the run doing stuff, I'll take vitamin C every day. If I feel like I'm getting choppy, I'll throw some zinc into it, only if I feel like I'm getting something, though. And I do that quick to try to knock it out, and it usually always works. I take elderberry syrup. Again, when I'm out and about or things are running rampant with bugs, they're the main things that I take, just as long as you eat healthy and that you're taking a multivitamin. And a lot of people are also deficient of magnesium, and there's all different types of magnesium. I forget which one I take, but I take the one you take at nighttime. I sleep much better. I don't get cramps in my legs like I do. And when you're getting cramps in your legs, that's a magnesium deficiency. And everybody's body's different, so what works for me might not work for you and vice versa. And I always recommend doing some type of a cleanse when it comes to those little critters called parasites. You can look all that up online for yourself. Wow, all these people in Australia. Will Australia be able to get over, same question, be able to ever reverse the digital ID coming in December? Yeah, if you fight it, you shall win. Will we ever be able to get hay for our animals in Australia next winter? Will we be able to get hay for our animals in Australia next winter? I feel like, why not? You can get it now, you'll get it then. But if you go into this fear and worry about it, again, you're going to manifest something where like others might be able to get it and you're not able to get it. So just see your animals happily eating in your visions of the future and you'll be fine. I don't see any worries with that, actually. So you're good. Can you please look at 3i Atlas remote viewing? Well, I can't just drop down and remote view. Some are saying it's a Draco ship and it's not a comet. Well, I already told you it was a spaceship. I already told you that. I already said that. I don't know who's on it. Maybe the Galactic Federation. But I'm not worried about it. I think, if anything, it's for the good of all. I have no worries about it. Now, if the government tries to make it out to be something bad, you should know not to trust the government by now, friends. You should know not to trust them at all right now. Will countries help Greece when Turkey starts its aggression in 2026, and how long will the conflict last? I don't know how long it'll last. I feel, short-lived. I said that originally, short-lived. Will countries help? They won't help necessarily like hands-on, but they will intervene, and it'll end pretty quickly. When you said Russia is getting desperation from Putin in Russia, I wonder what is causing the desperation. Can Spirit clarify? Well, the desperation comes from his collapsing, falling economy, for starters, and the fact that NATO and NATO countries are rallying together, and that makes him a bit desperate. He doesn't feel like he's losing. It's not desperation over loss or even a fear of loss. It's desperation as people are closing in on him, is what I'm getting. Now, Spirit, have any advice? Where was I? What do your guides say about the real estate market? See, y'all need to watch every week because I addressed all this stuff probably all within the past month. Real estate can be a very good investment if you are buying real estate cash. If you're looking for a mortgage, now's not the time, even though they dropped interest rates a little bit, as I told you they would. It's not enough. And interest rates will likely go back up again eventually. Commercial real estate, definitely don't go into commercial real estate because the collapse, when real estate does collapse, it's going to start with the commercial real estate collapse. But having real estate and having property and owning it outright is a good thing. Good thing. And it also would depend on where you're getting that real estate. Of course, be mindful. Since you have this unsettling feeling about Erica Kurt, who did Kim Clement predict then? I have no idea. I know Kim Clement's passed away and does prophecy. A woman with beautiful eyes will rise up in faith and will lead. And this woman will form a new party, not left or right. Well, she's definitely conservative, so she's not forming a party that's going to be in the middle, I can assure you that. I have no idea who he's talking about. I don't really know that prophecy. She does have some interesting, beautiful eyes for sure, no doubt about it. Blue eyes, beautiful blue eyes, actually. And she is rising up. She rose up right after her husband was shot, actually. Rose right up, without hesitation. Just saying. Thank you, Joseph. Happy birthday. Well, thank you for your question. Will the Zionists be exposed? Well, they already are. They already are. Taking land, claiming land, stealing people, all kinds of stuff. They're already exposed. And as they are a little bit exposed, the exposure gets more and more. So yes, more and more exposure around that. What do you see for the not distant future around the state of Washington? That's very general. I don't know what you're talking about. Are you talking about the politics there? Are you talking about the weather there? If you're probably worried about weather or such, I'm not really worried about that. It depends where in Washington you are, too. But you have to be a little more specific because, I mean, that's kind of general. And I could talk about a lot of things with any state. I need my glasses again. Sorry. Glasses. I swear I had my birthday and my vision just went overnight. Would it be possible? Do you think that the U.S. will ever be free from foreign interest groups currently influencing the politics? You mean one specific foreign interest group that's controlling the United States? Well, I told you, I saw a point where things break apart. This country breaks apart. China's even going to break apart. Probably even parts of Canada. I see a split happening in Canada. It's almost like Canada splits in half, maybe in threes as well. I think the United States will be seven parts. And that will break things up quite a bit. Overall, as I've been saying for decades, what's going to change everything is Mother Earth. And it's not all going to happen in one day. The poles aren't going to flip in one day as people think or think prophecy states. It's little by little, and that's happening already. And we're going to see a total geographic change that happens across the globe. And I'm feeling likely between now and 2032, and that's probably why Spirit pointed to this window of time, 2025 to 2032, which I put out in a video back in 2017. I deemed that the window of tribulation, just because it just made sense to me at the time. And we're in a 9-year, 2025. 2032 is the 7-year, and that period is 7 years in all. So that's why I deemed it the 7 years of tribulation. So that's what's going to happen. Mother Earth is going to shift everything. The combination of Mother Earth shifting and waking up is also waking up and shifting people. And many of the people that are not going to awaken, I told you many people are not going to be awakened, a lot of them aren't going to be here. Unfortunately, a lot of people on the planet are not going to be here in the coming decade or 10 to 15 years, maybe not even, maybe by 2032. And we shouldn't fear that. We should embrace that. This is the shifting and changing of the earth. This is what we came here to witness and to be a huge part of. Some of us, awakened, and some, walking around with blindfolds on their head. And that's okay for them. That's their soul journey. We should not judge. We should accept. And know and be fortunate that when things do happen, that we're still here. Not others. Others might not make it. They may bail out. Things are going to change and shift. But it's going to be Mother Earth that brings everybody together. And I said that decades ago. Spirit told me that decades ago. Mother Earth will be the one to force humans to come together in pure love and in community and rebuild the earth in a way that is community-based, family-based, the way it should be, and where we're working together, growing our own food, working together in communities, trading together in communities, and so forth. And doing so with a higher realm of technology, too. We'll have that higher level of technology to assist us in all this. So it's really heading towards a good space. Just getting there and going down this very, very bumpy road until we get there. Well, beautiful friends, I'm just going to leave you with that for today, for this Tuesday's Tittle Tea Time episode. I really hope you enjoyed. And please do just take a half a millisecond to reach on down and click that thumbs up love button. Please click that button. Lots of time. You couldn't imagine how much time goes into each podcast and each piece of content from all content providers. Lots of energy, lots of time, and sometimes even lots of emotion goes into it. So a thumbs up would be greatly appropriate for this. It'll also help show more content like this up on your feed. And if you haven't subscribed and you want to vibe with the tribe, be sure to hit that subscribe, the bell and all. Know you can catch me every Tuesday, sometimes on Wednesdays, depending on the situation, especially as we go into November's Mercury retrograde that often causes delays or technology issues. But I'm always here every week as we go through world events and how they may or may not relate to predictions and prophecy with new predictions every week. Means I just put out a video yesterday with forecasting predictions for October. I limited it today because I'll have another video coming out later this week with more predictions for October. So keep an eye out for that. Until the next time, friends, again, thank you for your love and support. You can find out more about me on my website, josephtittel.com or spiritmanjt.com. Sign up for the free newsletter down below, and be sure to follow me on other social media platforms. Until the next time, friends, remember to be bold, be true, be kind, be you. Let your light shine ever so brightly, beautiful tribe. And until the next time, namaste, friends, and much love, much love.